time is it?
Cookie turkey time.
Reach in there and pull it out. It's turkey day.
Ew!
Good morning to you! Good morning to you! We're all in our places! We're so amazing!
Why did you make me do this? You're fighting so you can watch all of these mascots die. Think, Luigi. You'll outlast every fragile, insignificant franchise in this game. You'll live to see these series turn into pachinkos or mobile only. Everything and every game from your childhood will be ruined. What will you have after 500 consoles?
Oh, hey, unbothered Mimi. How's it going? Hey, Jeremiah. How's it going, buddy? Now, I'm doing fine, buddy. But yeah, now I can't. This thing I wanted to do a little talking about my so far my experience watching the Proud Family and what I think of it, as well as some of the certain types of episode and new stuff that's become a part of the Proud Family. Pros and cons and all that stuff, you know. Oh, I'm glad you're doing good, buddy. I'm glad you're doing good. First off, I want to start off that I really did enjoy the Proud Family Louder and Prouder series. Although there was some stuff that pissed me off, and there was some stuff that kind of had me shaking my head and not scratching my head and stuff like that. But other than that, I did enjoy it. Now, were there some episodes that kind of pissed me off a little bit, or had me just tolerating the episode? Yeah, there was some elements. But other than that, I still enjoyed the first two seasons. Like the first episode, I was just happy to see the Proud Family come back. And, you know, everybody looking more mature and stuff. But what got me is that it seemed like when I found out that Penny and everybody else was still 14, I was like, hold on, wait a minute. In the Proud Family movie, Penny was already by that time 16. So y'all just gonna disregard the movie, say F you to the movie and just and be like, okay, the movie never existed, it doesn't count, so we're gonna say Penny is 14 instead of 16 as she won't aesthetic. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, hey, that's kind of messed up. So y'all just gonna basically disregard the movie. But if I'm not mistaken, they were on some things where it referenced the movie. That made no sense to me. How y'all reference the movie, but even though in that movie Penny and everyone else is 16 or 17 years old, but yet in the series, this soft reboot series, Penny and everybody is still 14 and still in, I think, middle school, even though they look like they should be in high school. I swear, even when I was first watching Proud Family, I assumed that Penny and everybody else was in high school. Well, high school. Just very young with high school, like they're like ninth grade or something like that. But no, they're middle schoolers. You know, I was very young when Prop Baby came out. I was born in the early, semi-early to the mid-90s, so yeah. I was pretty young when Prop Baby came out. But still loved the own cartoon. One thing that did depress me though when I first started was the fact that Sticky was no longer a part of the show, which is I think is understandable because you know his original voice actor, which is Orlando Brown. You know, I'm pretty sure Disney would not ever want to bring Orlando Brown, given how he's fallen from grace so much, and in Hollywood pretty much. So yeah, it's understandable they didn't want to keep Sticky. They just replaced Sticky with I guess. The two new characters on KJ and Maya. When speaking of KJ and Maya, I actually like KJ. He's really cool. He's like the modern, he's more of this era. You know, techno geek gamer, black nerd and stuff like that. I kind of like KJ. You don't see him too much in many episodes, but I do like KJ. You know, especially when every time he sees someone, when he saw these names, he's like, man, we're like, shit. Like, oh, goddamn, this is one busted looking ass bitch. Like, I like that. That had me laughing. That dude was looking at you like, damn, that's one busted ass bitch. But what I hate, I gotta say, I don't like Maya. I can't stand Maya. I can't stand Maya for the reason. What's the point of her? Well, she's supposed to be this pro black, strong, independent woman or something like, bro. Oh, activist type chick, like, bro. No, first of all, Penny, that is a trait of Penny. If you watch those Chronicles, Penny was kind of that type of activist chick. So, there, I feel like bringing her would just make Penny seem a little bit more one-dimensional, even though Penny has a lot of character to her. And they just want to say that, you know what, instead of making Penny her usual self back in all original, we're gonna add a little more to Penny, but get just for certain things of Penny and just make a totally different character. You know, give her kind of the worst traits of Penny in one character. And I feel like that's what Maya is. Some of Penny's worst traits or more annoying traits made into a full-fledged character, which is an unnecessary character if not. And even so, when Penny chose to be an activist at certain moments, it was for the right reason in some cases, and in the right situation in some cases, in certain cases. But when you with Maya, she just seemed like that. Oh, I'm pro-black. I fight for this. I fight for that. I'm this type of person. I'm this type of activist. I'm pro all animal. I'm pro all this. I'm so woke. She comes off as one of the typical Gen Z woke who think they know more than you, think they are always right, think they always fight for a good cause, but on the wild, they're just a nuisance. Literally a nuisance. Most times they usually a nuisance to everyone, even to themselves in certain situations. And they just like, bruh, why? And as I watched the first episode with her and Maya, I was like, and the more I came to realize, like, why are you here, girl? Why is she here? Why are you here, Maya? What is the point? I don't like you. And this is your first debut, and this is the first episode of Proud Fan Loud and Proud, and I already don't like you. Dang. Even the bear that she was trying to save, quote unquote, from the zoo, said he don't even like her. Even said you are annoying. That said when a bear said a panda bear, who you trying to quote unquote save, says you're annoying. That's saying something. And yet this chick has the nerve to think that she's better and above Penny and her group. Which I ain't gonna lie, they are. Even though one thing she did get right, Penny and her group are kind of shallow. They are pretty shallow, especially like him. And I guess you can add Michael to that group, to that channel on this too. But even Michael knows how to, chill out to an extent. Unlike Luciano. Yeah. Oops. It's just that I just don't like Maya. I never saw the point of having Maya added to the series. She seen it more annoying than necessary. Like she was just added in there just to have a pro-black, pro-woke person there. Like I know it's a black animated sitcom, but come on. We don't need you forcing it down our throat. We did it. And I, as a black person, get it. Like, the show was already programmed just by being a black animated sitcom, a very iconic, classic animated sitcom. And Parapet has always touched on a lot of stuff, a lot of subjects. Even back then. But it feels like now, it seems like that it's coming more forth than subtle, like it used to be. Like, I liked it when it was subtle, not forced down my throat. Another thing they did give me, though, it touched on the fact of homosexuality, which is kind of touched on before in Problem, I think, but this is a little bit more in your face and more so. Especially when Oscar was trying to get a loan for his failed business ventures as usual. You know how Oscar be showing that. Struggling with the Proud Snack stuff. Oh, hey, Wit Dive. How's it going? Welcome. But you know how proud, as I was saying, you know how Austin was struggling with the Proud Snacks company, never amount to anything. But I respect the man keeps going. Like, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Bob's Burger. Bob, even though he owns a small burger restaurant, the man keeps going there and keeps making new stuff. He always finds a way. He never gives up. How's it going? Everything's going pretty good. It's going pretty good. Hey, girl, how's it going? How are you? Yep, pretty good. Might play now. Cool. Maybe make Premiere. Nice. Go for it, man. The guru says, sorry I missed you last night. Oh, it's okay. As I was saying, Oscar. So he tries to get a bank loan for his for another upcoming failed business venture, the Proud Snacks business, and he was trying to do the whole black card, hey, brother, me and your brother got to sit together, son. We brothers got to sit together, Boss was trying to do the whole, brother man thing, the black card shit. And, and miraculously, the dude was willing to give him the loan and approve the loan. It wasn't until when Oscar saw the white dude, this buff, this fucking black white dude, who happens to be a cop and who also works with, and also his Sunset's partner, Luciano's mother, partner on the police force. And as they're interacting, Oscar just had this look of surprise, and his guy's eyes really shattered when he saw the two kiss each other. I said, oh, I was caught off guard, but I said, oh, okay. Oh, they're doing that. Okay, cool. But Oscar didn't have to really say much, but the guy picked up on the fact that Oscar also had a problem with it, with the whole, So he kind of took back the loan paper and said refused to sign the approve the loan. Oscar was trying to BS ways and said, no, I got no problem with it. I ain't no problem with that. The man already picked up on the fact that she was in that she wasn't with it. So yeah. So that was one thing that first episode focused on was acceptance of homosexuality. As well as another episode, I think episode 4, when we found out that KJ and Maya are actually adopted, I think. And when Dejanay, well, her fake ass, I can't stand Dejanay. She gets on my nerves. I can't stand Dejanay. She is by far the fakest friend I ever had. The fakest human, the person I've ever seen in my life. Loud and fake. I can't stand Dejanay. I can't stand Dejanay. I don't see if you actually like Dejanay, you might have to get your life reevaluated. Because I don't see how you can like Dejanay. You must love Top Tier if you like Dejanay. But other than that, Penny found out that they have two dads, you know, and when she told Dejanay, which I don't know why Penny did that, even though if you come a Penny, Penny should know that Dejanay can't keep jack inch to herself. Like, she can't keep nothing to herself. Basically, what says in this series, in this reboot, smartphones and social media are a huge thing. So, and imagine Dejanay with a smartphone and an active social media can do. How much damage she can do. You already saw how much damage she can do with this by opening her mouth in the original Proud Family. So you can imagine the amount of damage she can do with a smartphone and active social media. A lot. So she puts on social media that KJ and Maya have two dads. And everybody was just bullying the shit out of them. The only people who really didn't care too much about their two dads being gay was, other than Penny and certain other people, was the grocers. Which I'm gonna talk about them next. So, the grocers don't seem like, man. This is one thing I get about the grocers. They may rob you, but they don't seem to be the type to judge on who you are. That's what I can say about grocers. They may be ants. They may rob you. They may whoop your ass if they can't when they try to rob you. But they don't never come up as judgmental or prejudiced or cruel in a sense where they hate for this because you this and that. And there, everyone's gonna say everybody gets robbed. Everybody's a lick. So yeah, I can say I kind of like that about them. They all about the money. They about their money. They don't care about nothing else. In fact, they're more real than Penny's so-called friends. When you think about it, because think about it. You remember in Proud Family, Penny had this party, and none of her friends, supposed to fake friends, showed up, but the grocers and certain other people did. Like they're more with, even though they hate Penny, they have Penny's back more than Penny's friends do. Like real talk, they do. We're speaking of in this reboot, apparently the grocers just kind of moved up and became rappers, and they started their own record label and signed an artist called dang, I forgot who the artist name. It was a baby something. He was some bad boy with a diaper. Let's just say like that. He ain't even that good. He probably trashed like most rappers in the mumble rap era. But yeah, I kind of expect to come up. Even in the song, they all hands up, cash out. The song was actually lit. Low key, the song was lit. Like they turned their own catchphrase into a song, even made it their own name for their label. Hands up, cash out records. So I guess they're gonna be like baby, like on Cash Money Baby, like they're gonna be Birdman. They gonna all be Birdman. They ain't gonna pay nobody, but they gonna still reap the benefits off. I can see that. For some reason, I can see that them doing that. So I was like, yes, it was good. Yeah, it was a pretty good song. Now, near the end of the first or second or third episode of season 1, everybody comes to Maya and KJ's house, and everybody, have a party and stuff like that. Oscar comes there too, and everybody, it's all fun and stuff like that. Everybody forgets all the past beef. Everybody's happy. Oscar gets his loan. and stuff like that. And he comes in and do some pressuring to everybody else that Oscar comes to accept that gays are people too, stuff like that. I felt like that wasn't something that Oscar wanted to do. I felt like that was just a forced upon him because everybody was kind of pressuring him to Oscar. You have to learn to feel that they are people too. That people like Trudy and her daughter and stuff like that were saying like, dang. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really care too much that they had two dads, like the two fathers were gay, and it was a white dude and a black dude. Like I didn't really care too much. It kind of caught me off guard and said, "Oh, okay." When I first saw it, but it didn't bother me too much. Let's be honest. Like homosexuality is pretty common up nowadays, so who cares? I'm not homo, but I'm not saying I'm a supporter either. I just don't care. It's not my place. If I'm not one, then why took it? There was another episode that I think was touched. It was the last episode of season 1. The part about Sugar Mama's charity and her tracing it back to her people. And so Trudy went through all the trouble to trace Sugar Mama's parents and find out where Sugar Mama's people were. So when she found out, she decided, let's go to drop everything and go take a trip to where Sugar Mama came from and to go see her family members. And I feel like this was meant to touch on prejudice and sexism, I guess. Sexist discrimination stuff, because one of the reasons why Sugar Mama left home was because they kind of, her own family, the father, even her brother, kind of treated her less or discriminated her because she was a girl. You couldn't do this because you're a girl. He said, you can't do that because you're a girl. That kind of stuff. How y'all call it, misogyny and stuff like that? Like whatever. And Sugar Mama didn't like that. Even though she proved herself more capable and more braver than her brother, when they were kids, they were crying because they didn't want to ride the bull. Like Sugar Mama literally proved herself more capable than her brother, but yet she was still looked down upon by her own father because she was a female. And I ain't gonna lie, I kind of did feel bad for Sugar Mama. I felt bad for Sugar Mama. I was like, dang, but even though Sugar Mama proved more capable than your son, you still not gonna let her represent the family? You still not gonna let her represent because she's a female? But if Sugar Mama was a woman, you would have probably let her. Oh, hey, Chris, how's it going, buddy? How you been? Oh, you've been cool. Great, glad to hear that, man. Like, it's just that, why? Like, come on. If I realized that my daughter was more capable than if I had a daughter who was more capable at something than my son, or just more capable in general, I said, oh, okay. Well, if you're gonna win us on this and that, or whatever championship he was talking about, or rodeo championship, something like that, then go ahead, girl. You got this. But I guess it was because it was back in those days. It was a much more masculine time when that was done back in Sugar Mama. Sugar Mama is pretty old. And I guess that also because this type of masculine misogyny, I guess you want to put it like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was Sugar Mama's family members. The male members were pretty misogynist. I will call it spade a spade. They were pretty misogynistic. But then again, these were men from back in those days, where it was okay to do that. So I will call spade a spade. Even Trudy called it a misogyny. Penny said the same thing, but I feel like they would have thought of that anyway. And then again, Trudy, let's be honest, Trudy runs the house. She pays the bills. She's the money that pays for everything. Oscar is kind of a failed but yet driven and yet determined entrepreneur, but just ain't holding no dividends. There's no results coming out of what he does. So, yeah. I still respect Austin because he continues to keep going and stuff like that. But yeah, you ain't really don't need dividends out of all that, out of all that hard work, bro. But I still respect the fact that keep going. Shared your stream on my community tab. Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. She's not too old to beat Oscar's ass. True. Just ask Trudy. She beat Oscar's ass. That is also true. So because of this, Sugar Mama then again tries to run away again. And Penny this time Penny falls her and she has puff at her son. And boy, was it funny when they went through there all the desert. Boy, the desert did not make it easy for them. The desert did not make it easy for them. And we also get to come across who I forgot the dude's name, but Sugar Mama's first true love. So there's the name of Michigan. Quana, I think it was Quana. Yeah, I think his name Quana. He's a pretty cool dude. And we also see that before there was a Poppy, there was Quana. But and apparently in a flashback, Sugar Mama and Quana wanted to get married, fell in love and wanted to get married. But because her daddy was against it, it didn't happen. And this is why I truly felt bad for Sugar Mama. She still wanted to be with him, and she wanted to run away with him. But this dude really broke her heart, and so was like, "Say, nah, I can't. Your daddy, I don't want him to whoop my ass." So he was, and I was thinking like, man, if you truly loved Sugar Mama, you would have left with him. Cause I mean, if you left with her, he wouldn't get to you, cause y'all would be gone. Even though Sugar Mama's dad was in the background watching, I was like, yeah. I was like, okay, dude, look. What? Sugar Mama clearly saw her father was there watching as it went down. What just means that dude, Corner, could have left with Sugar Mama. Could have left with Sugar Mama, but then again, if she did that, she wouldn't have Oscar and Bobby. She wouldn't have met Oscar and Bobby's dad. And had Oscar and Bobby. So I guess it kind of worked out its own way. Which explains it. What happened to the dad? Did he die? Like, did they really, they never explained what happened to the father, to Oscar and Bobby's father. No problem, anytime. It was never explained what happened to Oscar, or truly happened to Oscar's father and Bobby's father. But another thing is that Oscar was kind of the favorite child, whereas amongst the proud family members, like treated like a family member, like treated like a son by his grandfather. And as I watched Oscar like crying and stuff, like, oh, y'all really treat me as a family, y'all treat me like family, like you treat me like a son, like that. I was like, dang, bro, your mama was that cold-hearted to you? She was that cruel to you? That just kind of gives the illusion that Sugar Mama must have treated Oscar hella bad when she was raising him and Bobby. She must have treated him hella bad. So this man would shed tears every time the elder men, the uncles, her Sugar Mama's brother and father treated Oscar like bad, as if he was never treated. Oscar like he was never treated like that. And that's well, hold up. But in one of the Proud Family episodes, when Sugar Mama was about to get a $2 million check, Hillary told us that she does love him. She may be harsh to him and hard on him, but she does love him, and she the one told her to believe in himself. But it's like it seems like that's being disregarded and thrown out the window. So, and it shows that Big Sugar Mama has nothing but hate, contempt, and vitriol for us. Like most of the episodes that gave so when we enjoyed it, gave us so much. Gave so much development to the characters. Some of it's being thrown out the window. The good development, and regard to the show, make them all seem one dimensional, or make room for new episodes for these type of episodes, and these type of unusual moments. But I did like in the end, near the end of the second part of this story arc where Sugar Mama, when Oscar was winning, but his uncles was cheating like a motherfucker because he was winning. And I was like, dang, y'all some petty dudes. Y'all gonna let him cheat. And I'm thinking like, do y'all not see this dude cheating? Like sabotaging Oscar? Like ganging up on him and sabotaging him? Do y'all not see that? And I'm looking like, dang, y'all really don't see this dude sabotaging Oscar? Wow, okay. Dirty politics. So when Oscar was struggling with the bull, Sugar Mama stepped in and tamed the bull and won the whole competition for the town family. Oh yeah, that's right there. Her family's name is Town. Her original last name is Town. Not Proud. That's the last name of Oscar's father. Yeah. I'm so excited. But yeah, the Townley brothers was like cheating like a motherfucker. But then Sugar Mama comes in after Oscar was, and Oscar was in danger, being abused, when is there never a situation where Oscar is in trouble? When Oscar's in danger. So I like the part where Sugar Mama steps in, take over, tames the bull, and wins the whole town family rodeo competition. And then after see how Sugar Mama handled the bull, Grandpa Town finally realizes that his ways was very misogynistic, if you want to put it like that. Well, let's be honest, he was misogynistic. And kind of the spirit story, he finally realized that a girl is just capable of a guy. And I feel like that was the whole point of that whole story arc, was to prove that a woman is more capable than a guy, or just as capable as a guy. I thought that's all the whole point of it. Or using a family-based setting to do it. So it was still fun, and so kind of a worn out thing. Kind of seemed kind of feminist to me, but yeah, whatever. I enjoyed those two episodes. I enjoyed that story arc, that part. So, girls are now allowed to compete in the town family rodeo competition, and Sugar Mama and her dad patch things up and are now best of friends, and they love each other again and have the utmost sex with each other. Then the proud family goes back home. Now, one more episode I do want to talk about, and this one I'm talking about. The whole colorist episode, where this she and her friends was talking about this Noah character, this rich light skinned dude, mixed dude, supposed to come out of school, and they were talking about how they want to holler at this, despite the fact that Penny and DJ Nate both had boyfriends. And they were saying this shit in front of their boyfriends, talking about how they wanted to holler at him, or how he gonna pick or try to holler at them. And I was like, bruh, y'all dudes ain't gonna say nothing? Y'all gonna let them talk like that in front of y'all? Like disregard your existence? Like how? Y'all just gonna take that disrespect from them? And then when Noah enters the cafeteria, They was expecting them to holler at him. Even Michael was expecting his own dude to holler at him. I don't know why. But instead of hollering at them, he went and tried to holler at Zoe. Which everybody was like, what the what? And I was like, oh, okay. So he likes the basic looking girl. But see, how everybody want to look at it is because Zoe was white. And now you want to know why they think that? Because Maya, messy ass, this is another reason why I can't stand her. Talking about, I heard he likes white girls. He knows. He said, I heard he likes white girls. Like, I know or I have confirmation that he likes white girls. It was more, so basically it was like, he said, I heard this, I heard that, but I'm not for sure. There was no confirmation. There was none whatsoever. Just a he said, she said. And then, and you know what? And what makes it mad is that they ran with that. Penny and her friends kind of ran with that. And showed nothing but jealousy and vitriol to Zoe. Despite the fact that Penny and DJ both had boyfriends. They was mad because they didn't get picked. But Zoe did. Which showed me that as the stuff that I've already thought, that Zoe's meant to be that ugly, basic best friend. You know, the ugly friend with all the girls will keep around just so they can feel good about themselves and feel like they're more pretty than what they really are. Because even I always wondered that, like, I don't criticize people look and stuff, but Zoe wasn't like exactly like top tier beauty like the rest of them. No need was needing that either, in my opinion. But I also feel like Zoe was just that smart intellectual friend, nerdy friend that wasn't about look, but was more about her intelligence. But in their eyes, that was the ugly friend that's supposed to make them look better than what they really, make them more better and feel better about themselves. You know, that ugly friend that some females like to keep around to make themselves seem like they're so much more desirable, they're so much more pretty than what people would perceive them as, and make them feel, you know, better about themselves. That type of ugly friend. So moving on. Penny, Lucianica, and DJ had on, and I think even Michael had on online call with each other, FaceTime each other, and they were expressing how angry they were that Noah didn't try to holler at them, but trying to holler at Zoe, and instead of being mad at Noah, they took it out on Zoe. And I'm like, how the hell did they take it out on Zoe? It wasn't her fault he went trying to holler at her. It wasn't her fault that he was trying to holler at her. You should be more mad at him then. If that's the case, you want to get mad at somebody. Boy, really, they should be mad at all. The only people who should in a way should be mad against Lucianica because she's single. Michael because he's single. But I don't think Noah would probably went for him anyway. But no. Penny got over it faster than anybody else. And see, what also gets me is that when Khalil, Penny's boyfriend, the tall guy who looks like he can play basketball but don't play basketball, is not good at basketball despite being an NBA player tall, which is the most strange and most ironic thing. And Penny and DJ's boyfriend tried to call her out and try to confront her about it, but instead of apologizing or being understanding, they got mad at Khalil and homeboy and threatened to break up with them. And I'm like, hold on, whoa. Why did you get mad when they disrespecting Khalil and the other dude, who I don't really care too much for, and talking about want to break up with them? If he wants to break up with who, it's Khalil to break up with your ass. Like you literally disrespected this man right in front of his face. Talking about how you want to holler at another dude or want some other dude to holler at you. Like, what? Man, I would have broke up with Penny and just said, hey, you know what, bitch, bye. I'm finding somebody else. Your big ass head. Your 5 head. But over time, in the middle of the story, Khalil comes home, so Pink gives Penny supposed to give Penny a heart-shaped pizza, and they kind of reconcile get back together. Reconcile and, are happy couple again. But I think before that, there was this princess party that they usually have together often. Everybody was dressed as their favorite princess or certain princess. And Dejanay and the others unintentionally tried to uninvite Zoe. Had Penny not told Zoe about it, Zoe would probably never known about it or what it was held. Because Dejanay and the others try to keep Zoe, indirectly uninvite Zoe. But Zoe showed up anyway, because I think Penny told her about it. So that's when everything came down to everybody started asking questions because Zoe picked up on the fact that everybody was acting little strange, showing a little animosity. So I think Zoe confronted everybody about it, and everybody tried to explain that no one picked you because you white. And Zoe is like, no, he didn't. He picked me because I liked her, because he liked me. Like, he knows. It was not confirmed that Noah liked the white girl. It was not fully confirmed that it was he said, she said, which everybody ran with and turned on Zoe. And then as they argued about it, well, it was Lakianica who brought the fact that Noah probably picked you because you were white. No, it was both Dejanay's Lakianica. But it was Lakianica that threw out the phone to her. Well, if that's the case, if you feel that way, what dude has ever asked you out? Now, that was definitely Lakianica who brought that question up. So, I see at that moment, I felt like, ooh. I think Lakianica. At that moment, I thought that Lakianica had won that argument. She said, what dude has ever tried to holler at you, Zoe? Because you don't really see dudes trying to holler at Zoe like that. But then when Zoe came back with a strong and good and honest defense, and I have seen this. She said, Myron has tried to ask me several times out. That's at least one guy. And which is going to confirm that Myron has tried to ask her out before. And you can see him back then. He tried to holler at her before. Her and him. So, yeah. Zoe came back with a solid defense. But instead of arguing this on her defense or accepting her defense, which was legitimate because they had seen firsthand that Myron had tried to holler at them too, if I'm not mistaken. These niggas tell me the rest of them, you just don't get it, Zoe, and just walk away in the argument. Like, as if she didn't come back with a strong defense. I'm like, what? No, y'all get it. Y'all were just hate. Y'all were just judged because y'all didn't get picked. Because y'all were not the first choice. I swear, it felt like they were trying to touch on colorism and explain how colorism affects black women, but failed miserably on trying to portray and show how it affects them. All it did was show that instead of black women being all it shows that, yeah, you hear a lot of black women complain about colorism, especially in Hollywood. But all that episode only showed was that they may complain the most about colorism, but they be the ones that do it the most often. You didn't if this was supposed to show how colorism affects black women in a negative light, you dropped the ball on that, Disney, because it didn't show in the light how it affected them miserably. All it shows that it was more jealousy than colorism. Like, they were trying to touch on colorism, but failed miserably at it because you didn't fully flesh out how this was colorism or how they were being affected by colorism. You were just showing that they were just being bitter, jealous bitches. Like, respectful. So, I was respectful, excuse my language. But all you showing is that they were just bitter and jealous of those. You didn't really portray colorism in a right way. Where people would understand that, okay, this is colorism, and this is what black people go through, and this is what other black people go through, colorism, stuff like that. you didn't do a good job portraying how colorism affects black women or other black folks, or how it's often shown as a factor in many things. All you did was show that instead of colorism, you showed better jealousy. Or when another woman when black women like a certain guy, and that certain guy chooses to deal with another type of woman, even with Hispanic who Latina is Hispanic, you made black women and Hispanic women look like bitter and jealous. You didn't really show them being affected by colorism. That's why I say if you were trying to portray colorism, you didn't do a good job. You dropped the ball on it. You really did. So after the whole princess fiasco, and Penny started crying because her friends were all against Zoe, and her friends were not getting along, and they all walked out and stuff like that. And Zoe was like, "Why didn't you defend me?" Which I feel like Penny did in a way try to defend her, but it seemed like Penny was kind of playing both sides of it. She was defending her, but also handing the other side out too. I understand you were trying to be fair, but let's be real. You should have been defending Zoe, because Zoe was in the right, and the other girls were in the wrong. That's how I saw it. This was not a battle of what. Let's be fair. Let's see. Look at all points of view. This was a battle of truly right and wrong, where Zoe was in the right and everybody else was in the wrong. Yeah, they'd be mad at you, but they'll only show you if they would have mad at you because you took Zoe's side and told them the truth, and they chose to walk out, and that just shows you that they were your real friends, which they showed so many times. I like to add, they showed so many times that they were fake as hell. But if you would have took their side and tried against Zoe, then to be fair, you would have actually been, Penny would have been actually not only racist, but not only colors. She would have actually been racist for that, to be fair. And then, honestly, that's kind of what everybody is. Bitter, jealous, racist. Because, you going to, instead of looking at the guy who y'all wanted to be with, chose a white girl. You turn on the white girl, but don't turn your anger at the guy. And that's the craziest thing, the craziest part. Now, it don't come time till the school dance where Zoe comes to them and reveals that no, she actually went out and asked Noah if does he really like her because she's white or because of her. And he confirmed he liked her because she was white. And Zoe in turn broke up with him and just moved on. Sad, broken alone, and that's fucked up. And she went told her friends that I confronted Noah about it and asked him if he liked me because I'm white and stuff like that, or because he likes me. And he confirmed that it's because I'm white. So she broke up with him, and now all of a sudden, everybody happy, everybody forgives Zoe, and stuff. And everybody talking about, see, now at least you understand, Zoe, that the colorism is a real thing when it comes to black women. What the hell are you talking about? No. This failed at portraying colorism. All it did was show that y'all were bitter, you were jealous, and you were slightly on the low racist because a white girl got the picture of the guy you wanted. Even though two of you had boyfriends. So that only showed that you were bitter, jealous, kind of racist. Y'all ain't, your name Penny went shit, to be fair. So Penny and other girls went dancing on their date and stuff like that. Well, Zoe stood there alone for moments there until moments later, Myron walked up and asked her out to dance. And Zoe's like, "Are you shit? Is it because you asked me out because I'm white, right?" And Myron's like, "No, I'm asking out because I like your brain, because you're smart." And Zoe's like, "Oh, okay, then let's dance." Now, this is what I also noticed. When Myron, a black guy, a black nerd, undesirable in the eyes of the black, what would be seen as an undesirable in the eyes of black women, asked Zoe out and dance with Zoe. They had no problem with that. They was cool with that. There was no smoke for Zoe when Myron asked her out, when she was dancing with Myron. But they had a problem when it was a Noah, a light-skinned rich dude. I guess you say good looking, which is the thing. So if you're light skinned, it's seen as a genetic jackpot in the black community. And stuff like that. Superficial crap. When he didn't want them, everybody had smoke for Zoe. But when, I guess you say, the black nerd wanted to act Zoe out and wanted to be with Zoe, there's no smoke. No smoke. Like, they had no problem with that. They was cool with that. They was okay with that. They had nothing to say. Nothing to say. In fact, Penny even praised her and said, even gave her a wink and praised her for Landon Myron as a date. And I was looking at my like, bro, if I was Zoe, I would disassociate myself from all y'all fake hoes. I would disassociate myself from y'all. Cause y'all fake as hell. Y'all had no problem. Y'all had nothing but smoke and hatred for me when I was with Noah, but you have no problem when I'm with Mike. A guy who y'all would never really show any solution, no interest in. That is it. What I draw from this is that when it's a desirable guy, a desirable black man, and they choose to be and they're with a white woman, that's when sisters seem to have a problem. Which I've seen, which is something in real life, to be fair, guys, because this stuff happens in real life. But when it's an undesirable black man with a white woman, or a basic white woman, or even an unattractive white woman, no, there's cricket. No one has no smoke. There's nothing said. Nothing is said. It is all crickets. No one has anything to say. It's quiet. Too quiet. But let Myron have been a desirable black guy with a basic or ugly white girl. Man, they'd be like, oh, she must be paying him, or she must be doing this and that. They were trying to find a reason for why he's with her. As if it's so unbelievable. But yeah, you can be an out of shape, basic or ugly black chick with a handsome dude, and that would not raise no question. And I've seen this type of itch before, this type of double standard before as well. And yet, something like that was. So it's strange when it's a basic or ugly Becky, but it's not strange when it's a basic or ugly black woman. And I'm like, come on now. So if Myron was a good looking dude, y'all probably have smoke for Zoe. Again. But since he's not the guy y'all looking at, y'all checking for, y'all ain't got nothing to say. But I bet you, if Zoe looked like her college version self, if you see the old cover where Al Roker, that douchebag Al Roker, if you remember Al Roker from the original Proud Family, he's the guy that makes wishes for Penny, but those wishes always have a backlash on the shit, and they always take Penny the worst way. He may give Penny a wish where she and her friends were in college. And in the college, and when everybody's in their colleges are much older, I mean, everybody had a good head and glow up. But out of everyone, Zoe had the biggest glow up. I mean, Zoe was fine as fuck. Zoe was fine as fuck. I'm just gonna say it. And the reason I'm saying that because in the college episode, everybody was from the so I had the right to say that. And she said she's fine. So I say this. If Zoe looking like her college self, they would try to say, "Oh, he's getting you because you're white." No, they would have no weight to their argument. Because if Zoe looking like her college version self, it would be because she's good looking. But because Zoe did not look like her college version self, everybody had had ammo to throw at Zoe. Because Zoe's not exactly, a 10 or 8 or 7 or 6. She's barely a 5. And it went full and see, and what gave more weight to the confirmation that Noah liked a white girl was when when you see him again, he walked with another white girl. He already moved on to a different white girl. One of the white girls you saw in the beginning of that episode. So that it was further confirmed that he dated white girls. But it just what gives me is that had they got that confirmation at the beginning, then they would have weight and the episode would make more sense. But because that confirmation was not given, and it was just he say, everything that went up to that point was just pure bitterness, jealousy, and a little bit of slight racism. Excuse for a moment. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk about, stuff like that. But other than that, despite all that, I enjoyed season 1 and 2. I enjoyed Proud Family Loud and Proud. May have some couple has his BS moments now. It has his BS moments, but as well as its awesome episode, it has his BS episode. Like I said, everything has its pros and cons. And this reboot has pros and cons, but I still like it. I can't wait for season 3. So yeah, that's it for me. I'll catch y'all later. Before I end it on things, hope you all enjoy. And I will see you all later. Seriously, bro? Yes, brother. Seriously. Catch you all later. So this is supposed to be an hour stream, so yeah, I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.